Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man 60 years celebration thing figure. And I'm beyond thrilled to have this figure. This is a completely new Spider-Man buck. You know, I'll show you, it's a little bit smaller and all that stuff, and it's got great articulation and great detail, and I'm excited to see all the upcoming figures that we have on this buck, because we of course have this Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, but that 90s cell-shaded one, the Walmart exclusive one, that's coming out on the same body, and then same with the Spidey and Amazing Friends one. That's also coming out on this buck, so I think that probably going forward, this is going to be maybe the standard Spider-Man buck with us still getting the occasional retro Spidey. But, you know, if they start to fizzle that one out and we just get this one, I think this is a great one. And as always, the turntable has stopped, which means that it is time to take a look at what he comes with. So as you can see right here, of course, he has the wall-crawling hands, which is probably the best accessory that we get with this figure, because every Spider-Man figure should come with wall-crawling hands, and there is no exception to that rule. Also comes with, if it'll focus, comes with a pair of whip hands, which are really nice, of course, you know, standard. He comes with a pair of fists as well, which also should be standard, but these look really nice as well. And then we get, which is really cool, we really should get these as well with every other Spider-Man. We get web holding hands, and they're up and down hinges, so that's really cool. So you can actually get him into some really solid web swinging poses, which is so cool. We get a pair of his, no, I need it to focus again, come on. There you go. We get a pair of these, the webs that go underneath his arms, which they are a pain in the ass. They plug in, but I don't really like how they look, personally. And then we get a pair of, I don't know where the other one is. Oh wait, here it is. We get a pair of splayed out ones. So for his, you know, gliding poses, which of course, you know, this is what Spider-Man had when he first showed up. And it's really cool that it has this. And he also has the holes on his arms for the, it's kind of hard to see because of the black, but got the holes right there on his arms, and they plug in really well, but they just, I don't know, they kind of sit weird. I don't know, maybe it's just mine, but then he comes with the really weird web that we've gotten for, God, the first time I saw it, at least, was the Amazing Spider-Man figures, the Walmart wave, when they made those. That's the first time that I remember seeing these, but I don't know why we're still getting this. Like, come on, can we please get some new webs? I mean, obviously, of course, we can buy the, you know, bendy webs and all that stuff, but which this figure looks great with. But without further ado, let's take a look at the detail. We take a look at his head. I love this. I love the sort of squinty-ish eyes that the original Spider-Man suit had. It looks great. I really enjoy it. Got the spider on the back here, which looks really good as well. Have the Spider logo on the front. This is so good. I love this. I have the original Toy Biz one, which I have in a box. I'm not going to get it out because I don't want to get it out. Otherwise, I would compare it. But there really is no comparison, obviously. Like, they're both just the first appearance version of Spider-Man, so it makes sense to compare them, but you don't really need to. And obviously, you know, it's the black and red suit. It's the classic, the original classic suit, which just, I really can't get over this. The web lines look good. The pinless looks so good. He moves so well. His articulation, so his head is on the disc hinge now. Again, we're back to having that, so which is really good because we can get him to look up all the way, which is really nice. So you can get him to look up, like I said, all the way. And then if you bring the head, tilt it a little bit forward, you can get it all the way down, which is really good. We have a little bit of tilt, not too much, but a little bit to get some personality in there. Rotation, of course, you know. Shoulders, if you look, they kind of catch right here. I'm not sure why, but there's like a lot of extra plastic right here for some reason. See that? There's like a weird kind of tab going on. And I hope that maybe that gets fixed, but we'll see. Because his arms go up to about there, which is, it doesn't seem that great, but you can push it past it, and it starts to, you know, it goes out about that far, but it's very tight. And I'm really worried about bending that, so you just got to be careful. You don't want to end up ruining your figure, you know. Butterfly joints go in that far, go back that far, rotate up all the way around, you know, got stuff. Double jointed elbows, and of course bicep swivel. Elbows go up that far. All sets of hands except for the web swinging hands go back and forth. As for his torso, we do have the carryover from the Retro Spidey mold, where he has the diaphragm joint and then the ab crunch at the bottom, so it can tilt a little bit to the side, rotation, crunch that far forward, and that far back, which is not great. It does not seem that great, but with the ab crunch, you can get that far forward and that far back, which is still not as much as the Retro Spidey, but with these legs, which can go that far forward and that far back, you can get him into some really solid poses. So I'll show the rest of the articulation in a second here, but I want to show you just how, because I know a lot of people have spread misinformation and been like, oh my god, it's less articulated, this figure's garbage. But like, look at that. That's just, you know, you get him into a really crazy hunkered down pose. It looks good. So leg can go that far forward and that far back, but it starts to jet out a little bit. Thigh swivel, of course. There is no drop down either when it comes to this new body as well, which I do like. I prefer there to not be a drop down. I just feel like it makes the pegs sturdier if there is no drop down. Knees bend all the way back. Can we push it? We can. Cool. Robo will be happy about that. And then bicep swivel. Come on. We have boot swivel and his feet go up, down, and of course, ankle pivot. And now on to some size comparisons. Here he is next to his fellow subline of Marvel Legends for the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man stuff, but the Renew Your Vows Spidey and then the Iron Spider-Man. And I think this looks good as well. I think that, you know, it's obviously first appearance Spider-Man, so he's supposed to be, you know, just starting out teenage Spider-Man, and then this is, you know, teenage Spider-Man as well, but he's like a couple years older. I guess probably timeline-wise, you know, he would be around he was probably what, like 14, 15, and then probably like 16, 17 during this. So like it makes sense that he'd be a little bit taller, and plus he's wearing armor, so it's fine. And then of course this is adult Spider-Man, so he's taller than both of them. So I think it looks pretty good. And then here he is next to the MJ with the Renew Your Vows head on it, and then the Marvel Legends Space Venom Space, I don't remember whatever that wave was called, of Miles. And I could see us, because of how small this buck is, this new one, technically, you know, amongst like the different Spider-Man stuff, I could see us getting a Miles on this body. I think we should. I don't know if we will, but I could see them trying to do that. I think that would be a really cool idea. And then, of course, as always, here he is next to the retro Captain America and the Mezco Netflix Daredevil, and I think this looks really good as well. You know, we got Teenage Spider-Man along with the technical first appearance version of Captain America. Overall, I really do love this figure. I mean, like, here it is with some bendy webs. I think this looks phenomenal. I love that we get all the accessories that we get, but this figure's so fun. His articulation is solid. It's a great... I love that it's actually a great figure on its own, and it's not meant to be like a replacement for the retro Spidey buck. You know, this is very much a starting out teenage Peter Parker versus the retro Spidey mold, which is, you know, adult Peter Parker. Or, you know, adult, like, it's a bigger Peter Parker. You can use him as your adult version of Peter. I think that's really cool that we have different versions, because like of the Spider-Mans that we've gotten this year, you know, we got the symbiote Spidey on the original retro buck. We got the Renew Your Vows pack with the pinless, obviously. We have this figure, and we have the Iron Spider-Man, and then, you know, of course, there's like the 40 million other ones like Ben Reilly and all that stuff, but like, who cares? I love Ben Reilly, I'm just kidding. But he's just not, you know, I'm not really that versed on him, so it's fine. But just all of the Spider-Mans we've gotten this year, all of them have their own unique place on the shelf, and I think that's really cool, because a lot of the time, you know, we get figures that when we get them, we're like, cool, this is awesome, this will replace this figure on the shelf. And it's like, oh man, that kind of is a bummer that it's going to replace this figure. But none of these figures are doing that. They're all going to have their own special places on the shelf, which is just, that's really cool. And I really love this 60th anniversary line so far of Spider-Man. And I'm excited to get the rest of the stuff, because it's such an absolute phenomenal wave. And yeah, that's going to do it from me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.